Yep, the Twilight book from Edward's perspective. Oh, joy. So, apparently, it's the same story, okay? It's literally the same exact story from the first book, but from Edward's perspective. So, we get a little bit of what's going on inside that little mind there, the little creepy vampiric mind, if you will. So basically we get the whole thing where, Edward tries to tone out all the minds and all that because he can mind read or whatever. He's just trying to tone it out, and he can't and all that. He hates school because, of course, he hates school. Although he's over 100 years old, why he has to be in school, I really don't know. He can just say he's homeschooled or something. Whatever. Anyway, we also get some interpretations of what happens inside other people's heads. Like, for instance, Rosaline. Apparently Rosaline, Edward just really hates her, I guess. There's that. And apparently the Anna Kendrick character, I forget her name, but apparently Anna Kendrick character, she's a lot more of a meanie pants than she is from the outside. And then, he could barely contain himself, with the whole thing. It happens, all that. And it's during the cafeteria scene, apparently, where Edward realizes he can't read Bella's mind. Because, of course, he can't. And then the whole biology scene happens where he smells her and he's just like, oh, shoot, this is the one. This is, I don't know how I can take it, but, Then he formulates a multi-step plan to take out every person in the classroom so he can be with Bella. Because of course he does. Why the hell not? And, he makes the comments when he tries to get out of biology or whatever that, I guess he can be the grandfather of the secretary who's like old as hell too. So there's that, and he just can't stand it anymore, so he just runs away. And I don't know. I don't know if I forgot this from the first book. I mean, it's been so long, guys. My brain is just barely there anymore. But just guess where he runs to. I'll give you a moment. Yes, he runs to Alaska. Yes, because of course he does. Now, granted, Forks, Oregon is closer proximity to Alaska, but still, there's the second biggest country in the world in the middle of getting from Alaska to Forks, Oregon. So I would say that's a little bit of an overreaction there. Yeah, but still, he's 17 in, vampire years, I guess. In human years, he's like 100 or something. So whatever, I guess. So, I suppose in Alaska, he's not wanting to do anything with any other girl, even vampiric girls, I suppose, because, hey, Bella is just the way she is, and she's the best person of all time. Okay. And I guess there's a little thing here about vampiric women having sex with men, like actual human people, and they decide not to kill them because they can have sex with them again. Okay, and then he goes back to Forks, Oregon. I don't know what the deal is with that, but let's keep going, I guess. So the siblings and all that, they form a barrier around Edward in the cafeteria so he doesn't just spring up and, just try to maul Bella and all that. His animalistic tendencies, if you will. But apparently, when Bella comes over, he's just I guess this is jealousy, but he's jealous that he can read Mike's brain, and Mike is, concerned about Bella being sick and all that. But apparently, we find out through this interaction that he cannot read Bella's brain like he can with everyone else. Okay. And that's the reason why he likes Bella, is because he's the mystery that he can't decipher. Just wonderful. And then, I guess they're bio partners, I suppose, and they're doing their thing. They're just doing bio crap. I don't even know. And then Edward's like, oh hey, yeah, I wish that I could be with her forever, because in 2 years she'll probably be married to someone else and all that. And I'm just like, okay, you're oh gosh. I don't really want to be with him. Can we get back to the not Edward's point of view, please? And then he says she's pretty good for a human. Okay. He also goes to see Alice, I guess, and see his future, if you will. And his future is just all chaotic and sporadic and all that. And apparently, she sees a future with Edward, and there's a shadowy figure, and they're living together forever and all that. And oh gee, I wonder who this could be. And I don't know necessarily if this is how she wanted to write this particular part, but Stephanie Myers, let's just sit down for a second, okay? If you're making a semi pseudo prequel to your saga and all that, like, we all know what happens at the end, right? So you're just basically making another book from another character's point of view or all that. You're trying to make a tension or whatever, like saying a mystery. It's like, oh hey, who could this be? I would suggest not making it blatantly obvious, because I'm just reading it and I'm just like, okay. I have no words. I have no feelings. I feel nothing. I feel absolutely nothing. Let's just move on. And then we get the infamous, crash scene, if you will. There's the whole, stopping a car with your bare hands and all that type of thing. Whatever, super speed, all that stuff. And apparently, we get this thing from Edward where he's apparently through his clenched teeth, he said a naughty word in front of a lady. Yeah. Do we hear this word in question? No. We don't see any cussing in this entire book, in this 2020 Twilight book. I can't believe this franchise is still pumping out content. Yes, I said the word content. And he has a center life crisis, if you will, where he's thinking about, exposing the family and all that type of thing, which I would say rightfully so. You just stopped a car with your bare hands, so, there's that. And then we get some new stuff here, finally, where, Edward actually talks to the family, and apparently a couple of vampires want to kill Bella so they don't have to move and all that again, and have to, reform their life, all that type of thing, And so they don't have to do anything else to any other person. So, yeah, there you go, I guess. And they keep on calling her a child, which I am now getting PTSD from the later books. But then, Alice comes back and tells of Edward's future again, and oh boy, there's new information coming along here that Edward and Bella will probably be together, but not alone. Alice, in fact, is also in love with Bella, supposedly. So yeah, there we go. You gotta get that, oh gosh. Which actually, you know what, if they actually, I don't know if she's going to, write the other 3 books in this saga from Edward's perspective, but I'm gonna say this. If there's something like that in here, where Alice and Bella actually, I guess, explore this relationship, I would actually kind of enjoy that. Not because I'm a prude, but because, this would be something new and not necessarily, treading old ground and making stupidness over here. Change things up, shake things up and make things interesting and not necessarily, creepy and gross. And then, we get some more Bella from Edward's perspective and all that. We get, how she's apparently very kind and very, smart and all that, very, very nice, making decisions that, normal people probably wouldn't make because, she's so nice and whatever. And then he uses this as an excuse to sneak into her house and watch her sleeping. And, so he acknowledges it, but it doesn't make it good, and it doesn't make it right, Edward. I would suggest not doing that. But yeah, apparently he's worried that something might happen in her sleep, so he's got to go see her and see her sleep and all that. Okay, wonderful. This is giving me PTSD. And he even brought grease. There's even a special segment in here where he says he brought grease to, stop the squeaking of the window over here. And okay, that's wonderful. Thank you for that tidbit. Love that. So yeah, he's still on the edge of whether or not he's going to kill or love Bella. But then Bella says his name in her sleep, and then, that just boom, the snap. It just confirms it for him. He loves her. Oh. It's almost like they're star-crossed lovers, even though that's not what star-crossed means, but you know what, whatever. That's what all the marketing says, that they're star-crossed lovers. They're not, because they survived in the end. So, yeah. Anyway, he starts talking to her again and all that. He, continues to stalk her because in 2020, stalking's okay still. That's just wonderful. But the good news, ladies and gentlemen, is that the excuse greatly outjustifies, the stalking, because apparently if Mike was to stalk Bella, then he would be just looting and just hovering, just drooling over her. But, Edward's good, because Edward's stalking is the only reason why he needs to stalk, is that's to protect her from, this ambiance or whatever, which is, no. In case any of you are kind of aware here, it's a sarcastic tone. I don't acknowledge the fact that this is, good. So, no, stalking's bad. Don't do it. Not even you're trying to protect them. That's wrong. And the worst thing about it is that there are probably going to be more teenage girls growing up with this interpretation of Twilight. And then, we get the almost assault there, but, Edward comes in and he's just like, yeah, good thing I was stalking her, or else she would have been, not okay. Yeah, so stalk her forever, why don't you, Edward? No, I'm joking. Notice the sarcastic tone in my voice. There you go. But then, ladies and gentlemen, and there's no sarcasm whatsoever here, I dare say this is probably one of the smartest decisions in the entire Twilight saga, honestly. You know, for those who have read the book, you probably are wondering why there's a pomegranate, you know, on the cover. So I'm going to explain to you why there's a pomegranate on the cover of Midnight Sun. And that's because of Persephone and the pomegranates, meaning that with each time that Edward interacts with Bella, she gets closer and closer to his underworld. Which I gotta say, knowing where the story's going to go, this little bit, that's a creative choice that I really did like. Because, you know, despite the creepiness, despite the weirdness, despite the not okayness of the whole thing, Edward still wants to be, you know, Edward still wants to protect Bella, right? But he knows that there's this huge overarching garbage that's, you know, his life and all that. But yeah, he tries to protect her, but in order to protect her, he needs to stay away from her. But at the same time, you know, he's in love with her, so he doesn't exactly know how to interact with that or what to do. So, you know, there's nuance. I can't believe I'm saying this, but there's just a tiny bit, tiny little dust, a tiny little seasoning here of nuance in this book that I actually, you know, I picked up on, and I was like, you know what? Yeah. Good job, Stephanie Meyer. You did something good here. So yeah, you know, apparently it plays out exactly like in Twilight, except, you know, Edward wants to check her into a psychiatric ward, even though he says he's a vampire and all that. So there you go. But, you know, he wants to take out these abusers because they did other things to women, but he's not going to do it because, for reasons, I don't know. So he's going to let Carlisle, whoever that is, to do that. I don't even know these names anymore. I'm sorry. But then, you know, Alice is just pushing to, like, you know, talk to Bella because they're going to be such good friends and all that. There is a section there where he's like, I wonder how Bella's going to like Alice or something, whether or not they're going to be good girlfriends. So, yeah, I would suggest not wording it like that, Stephanie Meyer. You know, you're an author in 2020, so if you say girlfriend, that implies something else, and I don't think you want to imply that. I don't think, you know, there's a lot of, even 2005, that would be something else entirely. I don't know if you're really wanting to push that. Questionable. So yeah, Edwards compliments Bella and her sweater because it's not flattering and he doesn't have to, you know, just gawk at her all the time. So that's beautiful. But, you know, I guess he wants to do something nice for Angela because she's such a good friend to Bella. And, you know, he's continuing to stalk everybody, just try to read their minds and all that and see what's going on with Bella and all that because he can't directly, you know, read her mind. So there you go, I guess. So he does something nice for Angela where he lets the word out that he's going to ask Angela out so her crush can instead ask her out, which, dare I say it, I don't think in this school with these people that goss, you know, that juicy goss would be, you know, put upon the back burner for a good long bit. You know, it would probably get out like in a couple seconds, you know, just, yeah. And, you know, honestly, throughout this section is just a lot of little inconsequential things that are just kind of whatever, you know. It's just, yeah. Rosalie wants to just destroy Edward's car because she's in love with Edward, but, you know, he's in love with Bella, so there's that. And, yeah, apparently the CD was Linkin Park you know, is made by, it includes Linkin Park songs. So there's that. But then a slight chemical in my brain kind of, spouted, the nice chemical. I forget the name of it, whatever. I tried to make a joke. Sorry. So she said that she wants to live in Prince, Rhode Island because of Anne of Green Gables, which I personally really enjoyed Anne of Green Gables. Even though it's a Canadian production, it's supposed to be taking place in America, but whatever. Anyway, though, that's neither here nor there, but still, it was a nice little tidbit. Nice little tidbit there. There's also subtle hints that, Jacob could eventually become a werewolf. So there's that. There's little tidbits and not like, just an overall shock, that in New Moon that he becomes a werewolf. There's little hints in this book that he'll eventually become a werewolf because his mind is very, restful and all that, and very calm and soothing and whatever. So there's that. Give her this. At least she, remembers what she was going to do and all that. But then we get the meadow scene, like in the previous Twilight book. But this time we know that apparently Alice told Edward that she will eventually die in the meadow or something. That there's a future where she could die by Edward's hands in the meadow. So he went to the meadow thinking, or somewhat knowingly, that he might attack her and kill her in the meadow. So there's that. There's also weird futuristic things where, Bella's a vampire, Bella's not a vampire and all that, which begs the question, if she can see the future, if Alice can see the future, why can she see all different types of the future? That's just like thinking. If you really think about, possible scenarios that might happen in the future, chances are you would be Alice, because that's literally what happens. I hate this. I hate to really divulge into this, but this is getting caught up in my mind, and I need to address it. So, let's just make a scenario for a second, okay? Just indulge me, just a slight tangent. But yeah, imagine that you're going to, take a Flintstone vitamin or something. You take it, you die, you take it, you live, you don't take it, you die, you don't take it, you live. That type of thing. Alice could see all four of these, like, in her mind, but you can think it in your mind too. There's like a 50-50 shot you will die from eating a Flintstone vitamin, right? But Alice can see it, so that means it's going to happen in the future. There's a possible scenario where this could happen in the future. There's also a possibility that whatever you think could happen in the future. I don't understand this power. This power is so useless. So yeah, so the infamous, skin, diamond, sparkly skin thing happens, but this time she sees that, she describes it as like it's a man on fire. So, okay. I don't necessarily mind this, vampire lords. They've been changing vampires forever, okay? Is the sparkly skin stupid? Yes. Is the fact that they can transform into bats stupid? Yes. Is the fact that they, are basically Frank Sinatra in 1940s, basically, it's so attractive to women that it's just uncanny? Is that stupid? Yes. Yes, it is. So I don't really care. But then again, the sparkly skin is so memeable, it is stupid. So at least we have that. And some random bull crap happens. Alice comes in with Jasper and tells Bella that they're going to be family, they're going to love us and all that and whatever. So there's that. apparently the reason why they don't go to Alaska or stay in Alaska is because, you know, this one vampire is so thirsty for Edward that, you know, she gets just wrathful, I guess, you know, that type of thing. More stalking, and Edward, you know, I don't even know anymore, kind folks. It's getting old. We find out that, you know, they're both in their very souls tormenting them. You know, that type of thing. If you know Attack of the Clones, there you go. Yeah, I had to do something here, okay? Hulk Smash was just like, I don't know, 3-4 books ago. I missed that. It is the best book in this entire saga. And, you know, they play baseball because, of course, vampires play baseball. Honestly, I think this is more stupid than the sparkly skin, but hey, what can you do? Then we get the confrontation, and apparently this one person is just, you know, just hyping up all their vampires, you know, like vampiricness, I guess, which is one of the reasons why I guess they, you know, don't attack Bella. It's because I guess whoever's doing that, I forget who, but the vampire that's got can manipulate minds or whatever, he kind of manipulates their minds to like how they see everybody, their perception, you know, that type of thing. So heighten, you know, one of the vampire's beauty, Edward's angst, you know, all that type of stuff. And then, you know, you just get this huge, gigantic hoopla over here where, you know, Edward, I guess, causes a car accident and all that, drugs a woman, you know, that type of thing. You know, and then that whole shebang kind of happens where, you know, he sucks the vampiric virus out of Bella and all that, and they do some vampiric fights and all that type of thing, you know. It's just a big hoopla over there. And then I guess Alice uses her power finally to course correct the future, so she knows exactly what to do in any point in time, so she can, you know, keep the right future in focus. I don't know why you didn't do that the first time, but whatever. And yeah, honestly, that's basically it. They get kind of climbing up the loose ends and all that. Edward decides that he's going to leave Bella or whatever, you know, because of all the, you know, hoopla and craziness when she's, you know, unconscious and all that. But he decides to stay because, you know, he's lifeless body, future, and all that, you know. So there's that. Bella pushing to be a vampire, and Edward's like saying nope. And yeah, that's basically it. That's all. So yeah, I would say this is on par with the first Twilights. It's not necessarily the worst thing that I have seen or read, like the last book, Breaking Dawn. And if there was less, you know, stalking in it, this would probably be a fairly decent book. Yeah, I mean, without the stalking, which is a hindrance to this entire story, I dare say this might be a slight edge above Twilight. But because there's like a huge implication of stalking in this book, I'll probably put it at the same level of Twilight's. You know, it's not, there is subtle hints that it is somewhat good. And I did like the Persephone thing here, just like I like the first, 15 pages of Bella's, you know, actual character. But then it just kind of continues down that huge rabbit hole of deplority and garbage. And yeah, I get it, this is what YA is and all that, but, you know, there are better YA things out there, you know? It doesn't have to be, you know, just cringe and stalking and weirdness, you know? You know, as much as I hate Divergent, which is basically a carbon copy of Hunger Games and The Maze Runner, with a slight hint of Twilight in there, ironically, at least in that, you know, at least there's no stalking. At least there's no underage, you know, grooming, you know, all that type of stuff. At at least it didn't specifically, like, target a real life Native American tribe and kind of, hurt their culture because of it. Yeah, that's a little, that's a little bad. I would say it's a slight badness there. Yeah, but all in all, Midnight Sun is basically on par with Twilight, the first one.